Oh, Judy, I'm feeling a little saucy.
We get a jump on holiday cooking next on Garden Time. Welcome to Garden Time. We're at Blooming Junction picking up some produce for our holiday cooking.
And later on in the show today, we're going to show you how you too can make your own fresh cranberry sauce using fresh cranberries.
Also, coming up in the show today, we'll tell you about cover crops for the winter garden.
We're also going to be showing you some books from Timber Press, which are great for winter reading.
But first, we'll show you some beautiful fragrant plants.
Well, it is quite a delight for me to be standing at Garden Fever, and I'm here with Lori. And Lori, today we are going to be talking about fragrance, which seems odd kind of because we're going into winter now, but there are a lot of plants that still carry fragrance with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's plants that bloom during late winter into early spring. We think when the summer's over and all the annuals are gone, there's nothing left. But the first one that I always think about is Daphne, winter Daphne.
Right.
This is Daphne odora. It actually has a beautiful margin on it and is evergreen. You can get it in a straight green version if you want. And it has little pink buds that open to white. You can actually scent your entire backyard with one plant.
And you're very right. I mean, even walking downtown Portland, I can smell where they're planted, and they're very intoxicating.
Draws you right to it. Do little snippets, bring it inside for the winter. This is a Sarcococa, and it comes, this is a little low ground cover one, and you can get ones that are about this high, knee high. It's got a little white fragrant flower in late winter, another evergreen, another great shade plant. And actually the Daphne too, you can do in full sun some of them, and some you can do in shade, so that's great for us. This guy right back here is Mahonia.
Yeah.
We know our native Mahonias that are either little ground covers or shrubs. This one's called Charity. It can get up to 10 feet tall. So this is like a piece of art in your yard, very statuesque. These open with very fragrant yellow blooms, and the hummingbirds love them. In the garden center here, when it's winter or early spring and those are open, we have resident hummingbirds that come in and out.
So as we're walking around here, you've also got some more in the back here. Tell me about them.
Well, you know, there's a couple different kinds of camellias that are scented. People don't usually think about those, the Sasanqua camellias. You could come into our garden center, any good garden center, and ask about the varieties for that. And then Hamamelis, and as you can see, this just doesn't have great winter, early spring scent. It has incredible fall color.
Yes.
Hamamelis is witch hazel. This one's going to get a frilly little orange copper flower, very well scented. There's also yellow flowering varieties. Sunburst, you know, is really nice in the dead of winter when it's kind of gloomy and you look out in your yard and you've got that bright yellow
it is
happening.
Very beautiful.
Azara, another great evergreen. Again, full sun, can do also partial shade. They take very well to pruning, so you can make a hedge out of it. They're very open and graceful if you want to leave it that way. That has a little yellow flower, smells like vanilla.
It does.
Yeah, and I have a friend who had their Daphne and this planted in the same place. He had to separate them.
It was just too much fun.
It was like he would pass out when he'd walk by. It was just too strong.
You know, and to me, let's walk on over here. It always reminds me of the Cadbury Easter egg fragrance.
Yeah.
I love that fragrance.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not always about the flower that blooms, is it?
Yeah, this is a Cupressus Wilma Goldcrest, evergreen or ever goldy limey color. It has it's called a lemon cypress. It has a scented foliage. Now, we were saying earlier, you got to really stroke it.
You got to get in there because you have to break that.
to get it going.
It's lovely fragrance.
It's beautiful, and I think even if you were trimming some of that off, it would be great inside. Oh, and then there's Edgeworthia, paper bush. This is deciduous, so it's going to drop all of its leaves, and then it's going to leave these little buds. You see there are tons on this one.
There are.
And whoops, in early spring, late winter, early spring, that's what everything is here, but there'll be these clusters of creamy yellowish white flowers, again very well scented.
And then, you know, that is wonderful shrubs, but let's talk quickly about bulbs, because we can prepare for those too.
Yeah, yeah. Right now it's time to plant your snowdrops. And those are cute little short guys, some of the first flowers to bloom, bulbs at least, in the spring, and those are nicely scented. And then right now also we're doing the paper whites. Everybody knows about paper whites, most people. I don't know if you can see this little picture here. So this is a love-hate scent.
It is, isn't it?
It's very
I love it,
strong.
for the record. But
Yes, yeah, and I like it too, but I can't think of what it reminds me of, but it's very sweet and lovely for me. You can force them in water in these forcing jars, or you could plant it up in a decorative pot, and then it'll bloom. In the water, it's going to take about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how warm your house is.
Well, so there you have it. You know, just because we're going into winter doesn't mean we can't still enjoy the outdoors with fragrance and beautiful colors. And you know, if you want to get more information about all of this stuff, you can certainly go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website. Then you can come out and visit Garden Fever yourself, one of the most adorable urban garden centers we have around. Thank you so much, Lily.
Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
I've been a Capital Subaru customer for 15 years, and one of the main reasons is because they treat me well and I want to shop local. The service department is excellent, and I always feel like I'm taken care of here. In fact, they call me now even after I've driven off the lot to remind me to come in and get my car washed. That service. One of the reasons why I like coming to Capital Subaru, actually, they have the dog area, and I can just walk my dog around the whole area and we can enjoy the outside. I got it my way on the Parkway.
Do you have a leaning or broken fence? Fix a broken fence with ease. Made in Oregon, the sturdy fence post bracket can mend your drooping fence. Strong winds, falling debris, dry rot, and wayward drivers can all cause havoc on your once sturdy fence. Our sturdy bracket attaches to your existing fence and is easily installed in 30 minutes. Limit waste, materials, and save money by fixing your existing fence. Purchase online at sturdfence.com or visit participating Par Lumber and Pro Build stores.
Fall is a time to think of planting and planning. Planting new plants now will help them get a jump start on next year. Black Gold All-Purpose can help your plants get ready for winter and next spring. Formulated with a blend of natural and organic nutrients, it contains everything your plants and spring bulbs need for a happy and healthy start. Look for Black Gold All-Purpose at your local garden center or nursery. Black Gold, all the riches of the earth.
It is the flavors of the season, and I'm at Blooming Junction with Justin, and Justin's the farmer here, but he's also the chef that gives classes. So you have a great recipe for us today.
I do, yeah. We're talking about cranberry sauce today. It's that time of year. Made with fresh cranberries here, and it's super easy to make.
We love easy recipes, so what do we do?
Yeah, so let's talk about ingredients first. This recipe uses a 12-ounce bag of cranberries, a type of juice or liquid, a sugar source, and I like to add some orange zest as well to give it a little citrusy flavor.
And so we just simmer it on the stove?
We do, yeah. To one bag of cranberries, 1 cup of either juice or water. I like to use orange juice because it pairs really well with the cranberries. You can also use apple juice, cranberry juice, or just water, but it helps to have some liquid to get the cranberries breaking down. And then I also like to use a 1/2 cup of sugar, any source that you like. Common recipes use white sugar, but I prefer to use maple syrup, which I used in this version here. And so yeah, we add our liquids to the cranberries. We bring it to a rolling boil. At that point, it simmers for 10 minutes. The berries will start to pop a little bit.
They do.
Yeah, and it'll start making your kitchen smell of wonderful flavors. And so we let it cook for 10 minutes at that point. Take it off heat. It needs about 30 minutes to cool. And cranberries are really naturally high in pectin, which helps to thicken it up. So as it cools, it will naturally thicken into this sort of consistency here.
Looks like jam.
Yep. And so basically at that point, you can pop it in your refrigerator and then either serve it cold or warm. and it's a nice one that you can make ahead of time for holiday meals.
Oh, that is nice because, man, on Thanksgiving Day you are so busy you don't have time to be doing this.
That's right. Yep. And cranberries, due to their acidic nature, will keep, cranberry sauce will keep for up to 3 months in the refrigerator.
Wow.
So you can really make it well ahead of time.
And what other pairings? I mean, we love it on Thanksgiving turkey, but what other pairings can we use it with?
Yeah, sandwiches. It's also really nice on a cheese spread. Goes great with cream cheese or goat cheese, things like that as well.
Oh, I think even on pancakes would be good.
On pancakes, yeah. Or just, grab a spoon,
There we go.
Yeah.
And so there's other things going on out here at Blooming Junction. You have wonderful plants, but you also have produce for the season too.
We sure do. Yeah, we have pomegranates, persimmons, all the sort of fall fruits, and we're still picking a lot of vegetables out of the field right now, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. And so, and we have plenty of great produce available on our produce stand.
And then classes coming up. Can we check the website for that?
Absolutely. Website or Facebook. Yeah, you can find our classes.
Well, you can see all things going on out here. Really, just because it's November doesn't mean they're all closed down. There's beautiful plants to see still, and there's also lovely produce. And we have to get all of our shopping done for Thanksgiving. So come out, see Justin, see the staff here. Go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over for directions. And also you can find that recipe for this lovely recipe. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Our tip of the week is about raking the leaves off of the lawns. Really, if you leave the fall leaves on the lawns, you can damage the grass over the fall and winter time. It's a great inexpensive mulch to put on your garden beds. This way it'll protect the soils from the pounding rains and also protect your plants. In the springtime, make sure you take off any of the leaves that haven't decomposed and put them in your own compost. We're raking the leaves in the fall and putting them on your garden beds. That's our tip of the week.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
The seasons are definitely changing, but at Portland Nursery, the one thing that never changes is our commitment to you, our customer. Whether it's helping you get ready for the holidays or getting your garden ready for the next growing season, Portland Nursery has the experts to help you prepare. Stop by and see what's new for your home or garden, then take home something special for the season. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, at 50th and Stark or 90th and Division.
Here's the secret to a beautiful, long-lasting deck with the warmth of wood. Don't use wood. Upgrade to composite decking. Fibron is available in 5 distinct styles and 20 gorgeous colors and never needs sanding, staining, or refinishing. You'll spend more time enjoying your deck and less time maintaining it. Stain and fade resistant, composite decking won't decay like wood. And no need to worry about splinters or nail pops. For wood looks that last, you can choose long-lasting, low-maintenance composite decking. Learn more at fiberondecking.com.
Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel.
I'm at Portland Nursery on Stark Street with Sarah. And Sarah, this is really a good time to talk about cover crops. So let's first tell what is a cover crop.
Yeah, so there's lots of different kinds of cover crops, but essentially they are a crop that you can spread in your garden when your garden's sleeping that will help with controlling weeds, add nitrogen to the soil, and then in the spring you till it under and it just helps a lot with the texture of your soil and whatnot.
And I like to do them because it looks pretty. Instead of looking at my bare raised beds, there's something green out there. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and flowering sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. And so are there different kinds of cover crops or is there just one kind?
There are a few different kinds. We've got this handout at the store and on our website. The most popular is a mix called Garden Way Mix that's got, a bunch of different kinds of things in it, clovers and ryegrass and such. But we do sell individual cover crops as well.
That's really nice.
There are different cover crops that are good for different situations, but in general, they're all going to benefit the soil and most likely add some nitrogen back in.
Right, and it's like, some people are very specific, and so that's really nice that you have that for those specific problems or that you want to correct, or people just want to, experiment. Let's see what this one does to my garden next year.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then what about rates? So does it have some information on how much to put down?
Yeah, so with each different kind, you know, the seed spreading rate could be different. So we do have a graph of that in here.
Excellent.
So something that cover crops are good at is helping pollinators over winter. So that's become so much bigger of a problem lately.
What's out there?
And so that's a big reason why we're promoting that today, just to give pollinators something to eat during the winter. So it's a really win-win for you and pollinators.
Yeah, that is great. Well, if you have any other questions, please go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over and you can see this handout, but really come out to the stores on Stark Street and Division and get your cover crops and get them planted today. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Garden Time's Incredible Edibles.
Fall is a great time to harvest many vegetables, and one of our favorites is horseradish. William, it's near and dear to your heart, isn't it?
It really is. I do love horseradish. Now, also, we wanted to remind you that when you're digging horseradish, don't just get real close to the main stem. Get out a little bit away from it to get some of the roots, and then you can use a hand tool just to get the last bit. We also wanted to tell you that this is a plant that really can grow. So even if you leave a few bits in, it'll grow again. And it also needs some cold temperatures, so even after a frost is a time to go get it. If you're worried about it getting very aggressive, which mine have before, you can always just put it into a huge half whiskey barrel.
So now that we've harvested some of the horseradish, we're going to go inside and show you a recipe. So we harvested the horseradish and we cut off the foliage before we brought it in the house. And then we really had to scrub it because it was pretty muddy. We peeled it with a potato peeler, and now I'm grating it on this fine grater because we want to make it mix really easily. And I'm grating about 1/4 cup for this recipe.
So to mix it all together, you take a full cup of sour cream, scoop that in here, and then Judy can add in the horseradish.
Okay.
Can we all fit in there
Yes,
together?
we can. There you go.
And then the other things are really pretty simple. You do want to get some apple cider vinegar, and you take a teaspoon of that, blend that in with it, and then also a little bit of salt and pepper. Now those are to taste, so that's up to you on how you want to mix it in. And then you just, I know it really smells super good. Then you mix it all together. Now there are some people who really, really like horseradish, but they don't like the harsh bite. So then you can add just a little bit of sugar if that's something that interests you, and that tones down the hotness of it.
So William, how long can we keep it in the fridge?
Well, in my house it lasts about a day because I really love this stuff. But for the rest of the people that eat like normal humans of it, they can always keep it for a good week and maybe even up to 2 weeks.
You know, this is a really great recipe. You're going to be entertaining during the holidays. It's great on roast beef, and you can get it right from your garden. And remember that you can just pick it up as often as you want. You don't have to do it all at one time.
That's true. Now, for this recipe, you can always go to gardentime.tv and we'll show you how to make it yourself.
How is it?
It's horseradish.
Locally grown, fresh from the farm, festive and magical, your holiday season begins at Al's Garden and Home. Shop Christmas ornaments from designer decorated trees. Delight in poinsettias fresh from our local farm. Enjoy ice apples, an Al's exclusive. Welcome the joys of the season with your whole family. Come celebrate the Christmas season at Al's Garden and Home in Woodburn, Sherwood, Gresham, and Wilsonville.
Garden Time is going to Europe, and you can join us. Next August, join Garden Time as we tour gardens in London, Paris, and Belgium. See world-famous gardens like Hampton Court, Kew, Sissinghurst, and Great Dixter, and Monet's water lily garden in France. We'll also see sights in London and Paris, like the Tower Bridge and the Eiffel Tower. We'll also stop in the Champagne area of France, tour a Belgian brewery, castle gardens, and a winery. We'll also have a river cruise. Our final stop is a visit to the Floral Carpet in Brussels. We'll be staying in 4-star hotels with 24 of your meals and your airfare included. Mark your calendar for next August for this gardener's bucket list tour and then sign up. And if you book now, you'll save $300 per person. Visit the Garden Time website and click on the tours link for all the details. And we'll see you in Europe.
Standard TV and appliance Black Friday deals are going on now.
Don't wait. Black Friday deals are happening all month long at Standard. Save big on a stainless steel counter-depth Samsung French door refrigerator, only $9.99. Get an Electrolux front-load washer, now only $6.24. Or a stainless steel Frigidaire gallery dishwasher, only $3.99. Plus, get a Beauty Rest queen mattress for only $3.98.
Hurry, Black Friday deals won't last long. Standard TV and appliance.
Well, the weather is going to start getting blustery out there, and really we can't get out into our gardens, but what about reading a book? I'm with Tom Fisher from Timber Press, and we're going to talk about books that you would love to be reading this year, or maybe even give as a gift for Christmas. Tom, you always give us such a great selection, so what do you got for us this year?
Thanks, Judy. Well, we've got a whole bunch of exciting books coming out. First, we have The World of Laura Ingalls Wilder by Marta McDowell. If you're a fan of the Little Prairie, the Little House on the Prairie books, this is the book for you. Marta delves into the background of all of the Little House books, telling you about the landscapes, the plants, the crops they sowed, the way they lived. It's just a lovely way to get into that real world, all the things that were going on and that created the fictional world that Laura Ingalls Wilder created. And it's beautifully illustrated and beautifully written. So if you've got any interest at all in Laura Ingalls Wilder, or even want to learn about the way farmers and pioneers lived in the 19th century, it's a great, great resource.
Oh, that historical record of plants and farms is going to to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's full of fascinating details like that.
And this is a local person right here. This
It
is
is.
a great author.
Paul Bornine, who's co-owner of Zera Plants right here in Portland, who sells some of the most exciting plants that we can buy for our gardens. Paul has teamed up with Amy Campion to create this wonderful, comprehensive garden guide for everyone in the Pacific Northwest. Not just those of us who live west of the mountains, but east of the mountains as well, with plant recommendations, garden advice for the kinds of styles of gardens you can implement, growing information about the climate. It really is amazingly comprehensive and easy to follow. Now, this book won't be available until about mid-December, so you may want to go online and pre-order it if there's someone on your gift list you know might like it. But it really is a beautifully illustrated, very comprehensive gardening guide for our part of the world.
And you know, William had done a great article in our online magazine about Paul, so really you can go on that and see more information about him as a plantsman and an author. Wonderful. And then I think journaling is really important because we need to record what we're doing in our gardens and what we're seeing.
Well, it is, and it's become a very popular activity. So we've come out with 2 new journals, one for the garden lover and one for the nature lover. Nature Observed has got little prompts for your observations, calendars, hints about what you might want to look at and note down. And it's a very gentle way to get into the natural world, just stimulating your own observations and forming a record of what you've seen and experienced, which is really nice to have. And then our garden guide is got calendars, little prompts about things you can do in your garden, calendars about chores and things you want me to do, and just keep track of what you've been growing and what's been a success, what you might want to try differently, new plants you might want to experiment with. So it's a great way to get your own thoughts down there and form your ideas and plans for a coming gardening year.
And I have a lot of friends that are drawers or colorers, and so I think you could take your pencils to this too and really embellish it even more.
There are great little illustrations all throughout both guides that you can color in and have a lot of fun doing that.
Well, how fun. And so this is a really interesting one, and Bobby Shorts is a designer from Ohio.
She is. Very well known and very accomplished. She has tackled the whole subject of renovating your garden. How most of us have gardens. We look around, we think, I could be doing that differently, I could be doing that better, I want to make this kind of change, I'm just not happy with the way it's all working. Well, Bobby tells you how to take stock of what you have, prioritize the things you want to do and change, and then how to go about it in a really logical, cost-efficient way. So if you're thinking about making changes in your garden, it really is good to have a plan. And this book will help you make your plan and really figure out the best way to affect the changes you want to make.
Oh, I see the wheels turning for a lot of people on that one.
Yeah.
And this is really a beautiful book. I love the photos.
Yeah, Deborah Lee Baldwin is, of course, the queen of succulents, and succulents really are as popular as they've ever been. There's been no fall off in their popularity. So this is the 10th anniversary edition of Deborah's famous book on designing with succulents. It's got more information, more photos, more beautiful gardens that feature succulents. So if you're at all curious about succulents and how you can use them in your garden, this is the book for you. Because even if some of the succulents aren't quite hardy in your area, you can grow them in containers.
Sure.
And there's still all sorts of wonderful things you can do in arranging those containers and making effective compositions with them. If you're in an area where you can grow these, it'll give you fabulous ideas about how you can use these wonderful architectural bold plants, which really, there's nothing like them. They're low water, they make a beautiful, wonderful visual statement, and they just transform your garden.
Yeah, that's really a beautiful one. And then this one is the most beautiful photos on that.
This is a great book for the nature lover. The Living Forest, with photographs by Robert Llewellyn, who's an amazing photographer based in Virginia, and text by Joan Maloof, who's a biologist and founder of the Old Growth Forest Network, which is dedicated to preserving remnants of old growth forest. This book features gorgeous photographs of every aspect of the forest, the trees, the animals, the birds, the insects, and the text tells you about how all these animals and plants interact and work together to form this amazingly complex ecological web. And the old growth forests are precious because they're the last little bits we have of these amazing ecosystems. And if you want to experience the beauty and the fascination of these complex systems, this is a perfect book for anyone who's got a love of nature.
Well, you know, Tom always gives us all these wonderful titles to get for our friends and for ourselves. So please go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you to Timber Press website, and you can find out where you can get these lovely books. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Judy.
We want to thank Blooming Junction for having us out today. We want to wish all of our veterans a happy day, and thank you so much for your service.
And if you wanted to rewatch today's show, or if you wanted to go back and research some past shows, you can always go to gardentime.tv.
William and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Garden Time.
Judy, do you remember when I asked you if you liked me? I mean, if you really liked me?
Yeah, I liked you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I need you to do that again.
Well, we really need everyone to like the new Facebook page for Garden Time. So you just go to gardentime.tv and click on the Facebook icon and like us again for our brand new page.
Garden Time is going to Europe, and you can join us. Next August, join Garden Time as we tour gardens in London, Paris, and Belgium. See world-famous gardens like Hampton Court, Kew, Sissinghurst, and Great Dixter, and Monet's water lily garden in France. We'll also see sights in London and Paris, like the Tower Bridge and the Eiffel Tower. We'll also stop in the Champagne area of France, tour a Belgian brewery, castle gardens, and a winery. We'll also have a river cruise. Our final stop is a visit to the Floral Carpet in Brussels. We'll be staying in 4-star hotels with 24 of your meals and your airfare included. Mark your calendar for next August for this gardener's bucket list tour and then sign up. And if you book now, you'll save $300 per person. Visit the Garden Time website and click on the tours link for all the details. And we'll see you in Europe. The proceeding was a paid program of the GUSTIN Creative Group and its sponsors.